Hey, welcome back. Nick Layton here. Today we get to talk about Doug Aldrich, amazing guitar player. We're going to take a look at 5 Doug Aldrich riffs you got to know, and these are from a smattering of his recorded work with Hurricane, Burning Rain, Dio, and Whitesnake. There's a lot of other stuff I could have chosen, so hopefully you won't be too upset with my choices here. Doug is an amazing player, amazing lead guitar player, but for me, his riffs really stand out. Some are complex, some are simple, but he delivers with style and some cool stuff you can take away from these. So we'll get into that in just a second. I want to mention the tuning real quick. I'm in standard tuning for this whole lesson. There's a few different tunings though on the original songs. And when we get to each song, I'll point out what the original tuning was in case you want to go and play along with the recordings. But for now, to play along with my guitar, we're just in standard tuning. Also, please check the description box down below. You'll see a free sweet picking guide called Sweet Picking Bootcamp, my free gift to you. Please check that out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell. And give me a like too if you like what you see. All right, so let's get to it. Here's the first riff. Okay, so for this riff, 10,000 Years from Hurricane, we are in standard tuning, and this is in the key of D. And it goes like this. Okay, so this is probably the simplest riff we're going to look at here, but it's super cool. And you'll notice vibrato I'm adding to the chord, the little chords, or we could call these dyads because they're 2-note chords or 2-note clusters. And when I hit it, notice that on some of them I'm adding vibrato, and Doug does this a lot. You'll see that all throughout these riffs. This is simple. We're just playing the open D string, and then we're going to play this D5 power chord here, G and B string. So all the chords or the dyads are on the G and B string. That's 2nd fret G, 3rd fret B. And then it's almost got a little pick harmonic there, but not quite. So you want to dig in with your pick. That's 5 and 5 on the G and B, and then 3G6B. Okay. This little single note line with some muting. 5th fret G, 5th fret B, back to the 5th fret G, 6th fret B, back to the 5th fret G, 5th fret B. So that's the first part of the riff, and then it goes back to the D. Exactly the same, but then a different ending here. Sorry, so. And all that is 2 open Ds, and then 3-6 on the G and B, and then move your pinky back and play 5. So, okay, and then we repeat the first one. Back to the next one. Okay, and now here we're going to end it differently. So we're going to go. And that leads you into the verse, and all this is 3rd fret A string, 2nd fret D, back to the 3rd fret A string, then give a little bend to the 2nd fret on the D string and a little pick harmonic if you can get it. So you're going to bend it a half step and then bring it back. And then 3A, 2A, and then A5 power chord. Okay, now we're talking Dio here. This is the push riff. Now on this one, I believe the original tuning was D standard. So it would be standard tuning, but down everything down a whole step. And that allows you to play, you know, that fat D. Instead of playing an E chord here, it would sound a whole step lower and get a really fat sound. Now you could try doing this with drop D tuning as well. If I was doing this live, I might try drop D tuning, but doing it this way sounds pretty good. I'm just playing in standard tuning, but I'm playing it based around D, which is how it sounds on the album. It's just that his guitar is tuned down, so he's actually playing E. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a mind twist there. If you're tuned down a whole step, then to get the same notes, you have to play up 2 frets. We're playing in standard tuning, so we don't have to do that to play along with the record. All right, so here's all that said. Here's a good way to play it. The push riff from Dio, Killing the Dragon album. This is when Doug joined the band. It's a super cool, catchy riff, and it's got a lot of things that Doug does with his rhythm style in it. So let me just break it down here. So start on a D5 power chord here. Play that twice. And then play 5 and 5 on the D and G, and add a healthy dose of vibrato on that chord. Okay, and now what we're doing here is, so there's just kind of these little rhythmic things, and that's what we're doing is here's playing 5G 6B, and then 5G 5B. It's like an F to a C there, and then 5 and 5 on the D and G. So it's back to 7 and 7. So this is back to that D chord now. Play that again. 6 5 G 6B, 5G 5B, and then we're gonna play a little pickup here so we're playing a C5, C sharp, and then up to back to the D again. So that first section should sound like this. Next section. Okay, so it starts out the same. Kinda. It goes into it, so. But it kind of resolves to that same chord again. Lots of vibrato there. Same as we've been doing. But then we play 5 and 6. Let's add some vibrato there on that F. And then, so now you're going to a a C note as the bass note. And playing a G on top of it. And that's 7G, 7G, 8B, and then playing 7 D and G, and then 5 D and G. That's from a D to a C. Okay, so the second part. Go back again. Super cool is here, so starts out the same. And that's 5 and 5 there. And then we play this. And this is 3 on the G string 5B. And then move 5 to 6 with your pinky. And resolve it to 3 and 3 on the G and B. Okay, so that should sound like. Okay, and then there's a single note run. That's open D string 2, 3 on the D. Little pick harmonic. Then 2D, open D, 2 to open, and then 3 on the A. Okay, so that should sound like. You almost can't help but make guitar faces. Okay, and then we're back to the beginning. Okay, so it ends with. And then we're going C5, C sharp 5, but then instead of going to the D here, I'm going and adding the A string into this D5. It sounds a little heavier. You could get away with playing the whole song in standard tuning. Okay, this next riff is called Devil Money. This was on the second Burning Rain album, Pleasure to Burn, the last song on there. And this originally was tuned down a half step. So if you want to play along with that track, you'll have to tune your guitar to E flat. All right, so, but here we're in standard, and the riff is in the key of F sharp. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Still of the Night, maybe Miracle Man by Ozzy, Zakk Wylde. A little bit of that influence on here. Okay, so what we're doing is going. And it's based around this F sharp note on the low E string. So you're just going to do a hammer on from the open to the second fret. And then add some muting and play it the F sharp a couple more times. Then we're going to play a pull off, 4-2 on the D string, back to the F sharp note on the low E. Hopefully that makes sense, because then we're going to jump to the top 2 strings and play this 5th fret on the B and the high E. And then back to the F sharp note. Okay, so it's now what this is open A string, hammer on 2nd fret, hammer on 3rd fret, and then grab 2nd fret G string. So you're getting a little bit of the blues scale in there. You know what I mean? There's some of that influence in there. But anyway, I digress. Back to the riff. Okay, so what we're going to do is play that 3 times. Oops. Okay, so that last time we just cut the riff a little bit short and play 4 and 4 on the G and B string. And give that a little quarter step bend. Okay, so then the riff continues. Well, I want to show you a little bit more into the song. It's really interesting, some of the parts Doug plays. So then we're into the next little part, which is just a variation. Okay, so this time we play a B the second time we do the riff. It's like a B power chord. You could play a full B power chord here. I'm just playing the 4th fret D and G. Okay, and then back to the first part. That much right there. That leads into the verse. So it's A, E, B. I want to show you the verse riff too, but let's just do that. Let me play that whole section for you at a medium tempo. Okay, on the verse we're doing this. Okay, so now we've gone to the key of A and we're playing the A string, A5 power chord on 7 and 9 on the G, and then 7 and 8. Okay, so we've got that tritone going on. This is very kind of George Lynchy here. Okay, so what we're going to do is little pull off here now, from the 3rd fret A string to the open string, and that's a G5 power chord, and a C5 power chord but without the root. So all these chords here that I'm playing on the verse are going to be on the D and G strings, and we're playing the A string along with it with a little muted rhythm. Okay, so let's take it from the little lead in to that. Alright, so hopefully that makes sense. So the chords are A5, A diminished there, G, C. diminished there. So it's the same thing as the A5, but here we're playing F. And again, check out the vibrato that's being added. And also that little pull-off that's in between each one. So the last one is just a C5, slide up to D. So that's 5 and 5 on the D and G, 7 and 7 on the D and G, back to 5. So all that together is. And you slide back up from 5 to 7. Okay, so that's a really fun riff to get your hands around, get your fingers going. Great for your rhythm chops. Devil Money on Pleasure to Burn. Go check that out. Okay, for these last two riffs, we're going to take a look at some of the stuff Doug played when he was in Whitesnake. The first one is Good to Be Bad, the song Good to Be Bad, from the album Good to Be Bad. And on this one, we're getting into the way Doug plays minor seventh chords, which he's a big fan of. And you can find a cool Guitar World interview / lesson with him talking about this and breaking down a couple of these riffs we're going to look at. So if you want to see him do it, go check that out on YouTube. But we're in standard tuning here, and the way he will finger a lot of times the minor seventh chords is with the ring finger and then the pinky. See if you can see this. And what's going on here? You've got to mute the A string out. So you're on the 6th string, you're playing the root note. In this case, it's a B at the 7th fret. And then with your pinky, you're playing across the 7th fret on the D, G, and B. And you're muting the A string out. So, okay, so this riff uses that shape, and the next riff I'm going to show you also does, but in a different key. But here's the riff for Good to Be Bad. This is the verse riff, which is slightly different than the intro. So this is what happens during the verse. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Let me break it down. Slide up to 7, from 5 to 7, and then play 9 here. So that's part of an E chord, but the B's still in the bass. And back to the minor 7th chord. And notice, it's a little unusual to use your pinky like this. But the reason is, for the next thing that happens, is for the single note. See how it sets you up? Instead of playing it like this, a little bit more of a stretch there. So I think that's Doug's reasoning, is to be able to play some of these single note fills and stuff like that that make more sense fingering wise. And that part's just an octave on the 7th fret low E, 9th fret B, mute out the A string. Okay, so here's that whole first part. Now the single note fill, and that's 7th fret low E, open E, 5, and then back to 7. Right into the minor 7th. Okay, so here's all that together. Okay, now like I said on the verse, we're going to play a little bit different idea than what's on the intro. So now this single note line becomes 7 on the low E, open E, 5, and then 3 on the low E. So I'm playing a G note here, but then adding a D5 on the top of it. Okay, so again, muting out the A string. Slide that up to 4 and 5 on the G and B. Play an E5 chord there. And we're going to play this fill. And notice how this will go right back into that minor 7 chord. The fill is 7-5 on the A, 7-5 low E, 5 on the A, 7-5-7 on the low E. It's good to be bad. Okay, for the last riff, we're taking a look at Love Will Set You Free from the Forevermore album by Whitesnake. And this riff is tuned down a half step on the album, so E-flat tuning if you want to play along with the album, but we're still in standard here. And this uses that minor 7th shape, but we're down to an A minor 7 this time. So 5 on the low E, 5-5-5 on the D, G, and B. And here's the opening figure. And it's going to do that whole thing twice. Open 3-5 on the low E. There's that minor 7th chord again. See how it leads right into that. And then we're going to play. So, just moving this whole thing up. It sounds like a D5 power chord, but it's got the A in the bass. Then I'm playing 3 on the A string and 5 on the low E. Okay, then we go again. So that second time you just go up to the D twice. Then repeat it. Okay, now we're into this really cool main riff here. Lots going on here. This is, but starting out with that A minor 7, accent the top part of the chord. And then we got this cool muting thing going on with some open strings, single notes. So and that's open E, 3rd fret, E, open E again, 5th fret, and then open E, and then we're going to play 3rd fret on the A string, open A, and then 5 on the A, 3 on the A, 5 low E. Okay, so that's the first little single note idea. Now it's going to go right back into that minor 7th chord, which is kind of pushed. So so much fun playing this. So here's what happens after this. So we're gonna play the minor 7th chord again, and then play that single note riff up to here, to the 3, and then the open on the A string, and then we're gonna play this. So this is 6th, the interval of a 6th. It's on the 5th fret, D, 5th fret, B, mute the G string, slide it up, so we're at 7D, 7B, pick it, and then slide it back. Okay, so then you just pick up after you do the 6th. Pick up the single note. Let's see. Now what you're going to do here is play, go all the way down to the G, then play open, and then we're going to play this sort of syncopated line where it's hitting the upbeat. So and then you're back into the riff. So here's how that sounds. Here's how that last part sounds. Okay, and I'll just briefly show you when it goes to the verse. It's the same thing, but when he goes to the verse, he also plays this D minor 7 chord here. This is on the 5th fret low A string, 5th fret on the G string, 6th fret on the B, mute the D string, and literally the same idea as when you're playing the A chord, but this time move it to the A and D strings for the single notes. And then you're back to the main riff. And there it goes. It's a great tune, fantastic riff. I love the way Doug uses the minor 7th chords in his riffs. I love the way he has vibrato to chords. There's just style and attitude to everything he does. And he also plays great acoustic stuff as well, beautiful, clean stuff. But as a rock rhythm player, man, he's just got everything that I like in a rock rhythm player. So anyway, love Doug Aldrich. Go check him out. Listen to Whitesnake, Dio. If you haven't heard the Burning Rain albums, those are great. And the Hurricane Slave to the Throbs, also really cool. So anyways, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back real soon with another video. Rock on.